Usually on this channel, we make retrospectives going over career numbers from people who have already hung up the cleats, but today I wanted to switch things up in honor of the NFL season starting soon and predict who I think the top 10 quarterbacks in the league this year are going to be. Some of these opinions are probably going to be unpopular, and honestly, some of them will absolutely be wrong, but either way, I think it will be entertaining to throw together something like this. At number 10 is CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud enters the 2025 season with the challenge of proving that his sophomore slump was only a temporary dip in what still projects as a long and successful NFL career. After bursting onto the scene in his rookie year, Stroud's second campaign saw him regress slightly, finishing with 3,727 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. While those numbers are far from disastrous, they lacked the same efficiency and spark that defined his debut. Part of the decline can be attributed to midseason inconsistency and defenses adjusting to his style of play. Stroud also endured protection issues that exposed him to more pressure than expected, disrupting his rhythm and decision-making. The Texans front office wasted no time addressing these concerns in the offseason. They added veteran offensive tackle Cam Robinson and seasoned guard Laken Tomlinson to bolster the line, signaling a commitment to giving Stroud the pocket stability he needs. Both players bring proven experience and toughness to the unit, and their presence should go a long way toward keeping Stroud upright. If he has more time to survey the field, it will increase his ability to stretch defenses vertically, one of his greatest strengths when coming out of college. Another important factor in Stroud's outlook is continuity with his skill players. Houston has built a promising young core of receivers, and Stroud's chemistry with them will be crucial for bouncing back. He has already shown flashes of being able to command the offense with poise, but in 2024, he occasionally forced throws into tight windows, resulting in his elevated interception total. With improved protection, Stroud will be less likely to rush into those mistakes. Looking ahead, expectations are high. Houston's roster improvements combined with Stroud's talent position him for a strong rebound season. If he can cut down on turnovers while regaining confidence in his downfield accuracy, he has the potential to reclaim his trajectory as one of the league's rising stars. A top 10 finish among quarterbacks is a realistic goal, and 2025 could mark the year he solidifies himself as the unquestioned leader of the Texans' offense. Trevor Lawrence heads into the 2025 season facing perhaps the most important year of his career. Long considered one of the most naturally gifted quarterbacks to come out of college in the last decade, his path in the NFL has been rocky. The promise is still there: size, arm talent, and athleticism that few can match. But consistency and health have held him back. After losing much of his 2024 season to injury, the pressure is now on Lawrence to prove that he belongs in the top tier of quarterbacks rather than drifting toward the dreaded bust label. The defining moment of his 2024 season came in a divisional clash with the Houston Texans. During that game, Lawrence suffered a significant injury that forced him out and lingered throughout the rest of the campaign. It wasn't just a blow to him personally, it completely altered Jacksonville's offensive rhythm. Without their leader, the Jaguars' passing attack lost its edge and the team's playoff hopes quickly unraveled. That setback underscored just how crucial Lawrence is to the Jaguars' future and how fragile the foundation has looked when he's unavailable. Jacksonville's front office recognized this reality and made aggressive moves to protect their quarterback heading into 2025. The team bolstered its offensive line, addressing one of the most glaring weaknesses that left Lawrence vulnerable to big hits last year. With more reliable protection, Lawrence should finally have the time to progress through his reads and maximize his natural accuracy. Just as importantly, the Jaguars added Travis Hunter, one of the most explosive young weapons in the league. Hunter's ability to create separation and generate yards after the catch adds an entirely new dimension to the passing game and gives Lawrence a target who can punish defenses on any snap. For Lawrence, the upcoming season isn't about showing flashes. He's done that before. It's about consistency, efficiency, and resilience. His mechanics and poise are excellent when he's confident, but he's been prone to pressing when the offense stalls, forcing throws that lead to turnovers or wasted possessions. With better protection and an upgraded supporting cast, there are no excuses. He must turn potential into production on a weekly basis. This is a career-defining moment. If Lawrence stays healthy, avoids the kinds of hits that ended his 2024 run in Houston, and develops chemistry with Hunter, he has every chance to reestablish himself as a future star. But if injuries or inconsistency strike again, the conversation around him will shift permanently. For now, the talent is too great to ignore, and 2025 offers him the best opportunity yet to prove he can live up to the franchise quarterback billing. Justin Herbert enters the 2025 season carrying momentum and a renewed sense of optimism for both himself and the Los Angeles Chargers. For much of his early career, Herbert was viewed as an immensely talented quarterback trapped in a franchise that couldn't quite get out of its own way. Coaching instability, questionable game management, and defensive lapses often overshadowed his statistical brilliance. The 2024 felt different. With a steady hand on the sidelines and a roster that finally looks like it is being built to maximize his strengths, Herbert took a significant step forward. His production, 3,870 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions, was not only impressive, but also one of the most efficient seasons of his career. What stood out most in 2024 was Herbert's decision-making. Long known for his cannon of an arm and ability to make tight window throws, Herbert occasionally relied too heavily on that physical talent in previous seasons, forcing passes that resulted in turnovers. Last year, however, he showed restraint and maturity, throwing only 3 interceptions across an entire campaign. That kind of efficiency is the hallmark of a quarterback entering his prime. It wasn't just about protecting the football, it was about commanding the offense, reading defenses, and consistently putting his team in winning situations. A big reason for Herbert's growth was the Chargers' improved coaching. For the first time in years, the offense had balance and rhythm, with schemes that played to Herbert's strengths rather than asking him to carry the entire load. The supporting cast also deserves credit. Los Angeles boasts a strong receiving core, giving Herbert the weapons to attack all levels of the field. With reliable route runners, speed threats who can stretch defenses, and a versatile tight end presence, Herbert had the freedom to spread the ball and dictate pace. Looking ahead to 2025, the blueprint for success is clear. Herbert has already proven that he could put up gaudy numbers, but now the focus is on sustaining efficiency and translating it into wins. If the offensive line continues to hold up and the Chargers maintain balance with the run game, Herbert should have no problem surpassing his 2024 totals. More importantly, he has a chance to elevate himself firmly into the top echelon of quarterbacks by leading Los Angeles into playoff contention and beyond. Jayden Daniels enters the 2025 NFL season with sky-high expectations after an electrifying rookie year that put him firmly in the spotlight as one of the league's most exciting young quarterbacks. In 2024, Daniels threw for 3,568 yards and showcased his signature dual-threat ability, using his legs to extend plays and stress defenses in ways that few quarterbacks can. His poise under pressure and big play ability earned him immediate respect around the league, but the challenge now is proving that he can build on his breakout and avoid the sophomore slump that has derailed many promising careers. One of the most encouraging aspects of Daniels' 2024 campaign was his ability to take care of the football. While many rookie quarterbacks struggle with turnovers, Daniels showed discipline in his reads, demonstrating a maturity beyond his years. His natural athleticism often bailed him out of broken plays, but it was his composure in the pocket that impressed coaches and teammates alike. The balance between improvisation and structure is rare, and it's what makes him such a dangerous weapon. The Commanders' front office has also done its part to surround Daniels with a roster that can help him succeed. Washington invested in its offensive line during the offseason, providing added protection to keep him upright and healthy for the long haul. Just as importantly, the team has continued to build depth in the receiving core, ensuring Daniels has multiple reliable options downfield. That, combined with a defense that has shown flashes of improvement, gives him the support system necessary to take another step forward. Still, Daniels enters 2025 with plenty to prove. Defenses now have a full season of film on him, and the true test will be how quickly he adapts once coordinators start throwing more complex looks his way. Maintaining composure against disguised coverages, making quicker reads, and improving red zone efficiency are all areas where growth is needed. If Daniels can continue to develop as a passer while keeping his rushing threat intact, he could establish himself as one of the most difficult quarterbacks in the league to game plan against. Patrick Mahomes enters the 2025 season with the rare challenge of maintaining his place at the top of the quarterback hierarchy, while younger stars push their way into the conversation. Widely considered the face of the NFL for the last half-decade, Mahomes has already built a resume that few quarterbacks can match, but the last 2 seasons have not been without adversity. Injuries to key playmakers, inconsistency along the offensive line, and an evolving supporting cast forced him to adapt, and while his numbers weren't at the historic levels fans are are accustomed to, his ability to keep Kansas City competitive remains unmatched. In 2024, Mahomes threw for just under 4,000 yards, still ranking among the better passers in the league, but short of his usual production. What made the season noteworthy was not the raw numbers, but the way he adapted his game. Without the luxury of a deep stable of explosive receivers, Mahomes leaned more on quick throws, timing routes, and extending plays with his legs. Rather than relying solely on big downfield shots, he managed games with surgical precision, keeping the Chiefs' offense afloat despite lacking the firepower of past years. That adaptability speaks volumes about his evolution as a quarterback. He's no longer just the highlight reel player, but a field general capable of winning in different ways. The Chiefs front office has made clear moves to address the supporting cast this offseason. Reinforcements along the offensive line and added depth at wide receiver should help restore some of the efficiency that dipped in 2024. Tight end Travis Kelce remains his most trusted weapon, but with Kelce nearing the twilight of his career, Kansas City has emphasized finding younger contributors to take pressure off Mahomes. A more balanced offense should give him the chance to maximize his efficiency while still delivering the game-breaking plays fans expect. Heading into 2025, the biggest question isn't whether Mahomes is still elite. He clearly is, but whether he can re-establish himself as the quarterback in the NFL. Rivals like Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are pushing hard for that crown, and younger talents such as Jayden Daniels are making their case as well. For Mahomes, this season is about reasserting his dominance and showing that even with a changing roster, he remains the league's ultimate difference maker. Josh Allen enters the 2025 season once again carrying the weight of Buffalo's championship hopes on his shoulders. Over the last several years, Allen has firmly established himself as one of the league's most dynamic quarterbacks, combining elite arm talent with bruising rushing ability that makes him a nightmare for defenses. In 2024, he put together another strong campaign, throwing for 3,731 yards, 28 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions, a season that reflected his growth in efficiency and decision-making compared to earlier stretches of his career. Those numbers, coupled with his ability to impact the game as a runner, reinforce why Allen remains one of the most dangerous all-around quarterbacks in football. What stood out about Allen's 2024 season was his improved discipline with the football. In previous years, he occasionally leaned too heavily on his arm strength, forcing throws that resulted in turnovers. Last year, however, he kept mistakes to a minimum, striking an ideal balance between aggression and efficiency. That maturity allowed Buffalo's offense to stay on schedule more often, keeping drives alive and giving the Bills a consistent chance to put points on the board. When Allen plays within himself, his physical gifts take over, and he looks virtually unstoppable. The Bills' receiving core continues to be one of the biggest storylines surrounding Allen's production. While Buffalo may lack the household names of some other teams, Allen has developed strong chemistry with his playmakers, trusting them to win contested catches and work the middle of the field. His ability to spread the ball around and make use of his entire arsenal keeps defenses guessing. Combine that with his mobility, which still allows him to break off big runs and pick up crucial third downs, and Allen remains the centerpiece of one of the league's most versatile offenses. Heading into 2025, the challenge for Allen is not about proving he belongs among the top quarterbacks. He's already done that. Instead, it's about pushing the Bills over the hump and into true Super Bowl contention. Buffalo has consistently been in the mix, but has yet to break through, and as the roster evolves, the urgency grows. For Allen personally, this season offers the chance to refine his already well-rounded game even further, turning strong numbers into postseason results. Next is Lamar Jackson. After years of battling skepticism about his ability to thrive as a passer, Jackson silenced nearly all of his critics in 2024 with one of the most efficient campaigns of his career. He threw for 4,172 yards and 41 touchdowns against only 4 interceptions while continuing to be one of the most dangerous rushing threats in the NFL. His dual threat capability makes him unique, and his ability to completely alter a defensive game plan keeps Baltimore's offense among the league's most feared units. What defined Jackson's 2024 season wasn't just the numbers though, they were eye-popping. It was the way he took command of the offense from start to finish. Always a dynamic playmaker, Jackson showed growth in pocket presence and timing. Rather than relying purely on scrambling ability, he consistently trusted his progressions and delivered accurate throws across all levels of the field. The result was an offense that looked balanced, unpredictable, and explosive, with Jackson orchestrating it all at a level few quarterbacks could match. Baltimore's front office has also played a critical role in his resurgence. The Ravens invested in both their offensive line and receiving core, giving Jackson a stronger foundation than he had in earlier years. That improvement not only allowed him to feel more comfortable under pressure, but also gave him multiple reliable weapons who could create separation and extend plays. With those upgrades, the Ravens' offense went from good to unstoppable at times, and Jackson thrived as the centerpiece. As the 2025 season begins, the question is no longer whether Jackson can sustain success as a passer, it's about whether he can lead Baltimore to the championship that has eluded them during his tenure. He has already proven capable of carrying the offense on his back, but the NFL is a league defined by postseason results. For Jackson to fully cement his legacy, he will need to translate regular season dominance into a deep playoff run. Jared Goff has spent the past 2 seasons rewriting the narrative of his career. Once viewed as expendable after his departure from the Los Angeles Rams, Goff has found new life in Detroit, where he has led one of the league's most balanced and effective offenses. In 2024, he put up stellar production, finishing with 4,629 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, and just 12 interceptions, cementing his place as one of the league's most efficient passers. His command of the Lions' offense and his ability to consistently deliver in both high-pressure and routine situations pushed Detroit into serious contention. Yet as he enters the 2025 season, Goff faces a new challenge: life without his offensive coordinator. Losing the architect who helped design a scheme tailored to Goff's strengths is no small blow, and it raises legitimate questions about whether Detroit can maintain the same offensive rhythm. Continuity has been one of Goff's greatest assets over the past 2 years. With a stable system that emphasized quick reads, play action, and timing routes, he thrived, putting together back-to-back seasons of high-level efficiency. Without that familiar voice in his ear, there's uncertainty about how the offense will evolve and whether the next play caller will be able to maximize Goff in the same way. The Lions have done their part to ensure Goff still has the weapons around him to succeed. With a strong offensive line and one of the league's most versatile skill position groups, he enters the season surrounded by talent. The run game provides balance, and his receivers are capable of creating mismatches across the field. That infrastructure gives Goff a cushion as he transitions into a system that may feel different without the coordinator who helped resurrect his career. What makes Goff's situation so intriguing is the contrast between his established consistency and the uncertainty of change. He has proven over the past 2 seasons that he can be a top 10 quarterback, but now he must prove he can adapt. If the new coaching direction keeps the offense stable, Goff has the tools, accuracy, decision-making, and poise to replicate or even surpass his 2024 production. If the transition falters, however, there's risk of regression. Baker Mayfield has gone from cast-off to comeback story, and as he enters the 2025 season, he finds himself in rare territory, firmly entrenched as a top-tier quarterback. Just a few years ago, Mayfield's career seemed to be spiraling. After bouncing between teams, he landed in Tampa Bay with minimal expectations. Instead of fading into journeyman status, he reignited his career, culminating in a remarkable 2024 season where he threw for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions. It was the best statistical year of his career, and it reminded the league of the swagger and grit that made him the first overall pick back in 2018. What stood out most about Mayfield's 2024 campaign was the balance between confidence and execution. Always a fiery competitor, Mayfield had often been criticized for forcing throws and playing recklessly. Last season, though, he channeled that aggression into productive football, finding ways to stretch defenses without putting his team in constant danger. While the interception total was higher than some of the other elite quarterbacks, the sheer volume of production outweighed the mistakes. He proved that he could carry an offense for an entire season, something many doubted he could ever do again. Much of his success was a product of the situation in Tampa Bay. Surrounded by a strong supporting cast and aided by a coaching staff that believed in him, Mayfield finally found stability. The offensive line kept him upright, the receiving core gave him consistent playmakers, and the scheme played to his strengths, emphasizing timing routes and controlled aggression downfield. The result was an offense that hummed with confidence, with Mayfield firmly in control. Looking ahead to 2025, the challenge for Mayfield is sustainability. One breakout season can be dismissed as an outlier, but 2 in a row would firmly place him among the game's elite. If Tampa Bay can replicate the balance that fueled last year's success, there's every reason to believe Mayfield can again be one of the league's most productive quarterbacks. His chemistry with his receivers is undeniable, and his confidence has returned in full force. Joe Burrow enters the 2025 season with one goal in mind: reclaim his place as the very best quarterback in football. Injuries have hampered him at times during his young career, but when healthy, Burrow has consistently proven he can match anyone in terms of accuracy, command, and poise. After a frustrating 2023 season that ended with a torn ligament in his wrist, Burrow bounced back in 2024 in spectacular fashion, leading the NFL with 4,918 passing yards while reestablishing himself as the engine of Cincinnati's offense. The Bengals didn't just get their franchise quarterback back, they got the best version of him. What separates Burrow from many of his peers is his surgical efficiency. He doesn't have the cannon arm of Josh Allen or the athletic flash of Lamar Jackson, but he processes defenses faster than almost anyone in the league. His ability to diagnose coverages before the snap, stay calm under pressure, and deliver precise throws in tight windows makes him one of the most reliable quarterbacks in football. Last season, he not only piled up yards, but also showed improved decision-making, keeping turnovers down while maintaining aggressiveness. It was the clearest sign yet that he's entering his prime. The Bengals front office has also worked to ensure Burrow has the support he needs. Cincinnati's offensive line, once the Achilles heel of the team, has steadily improved, giving Burrow more time to operate. Combined with one of the deepest wide receiver groups in the league, Burrow's arsenal is stacked. The return of a healthy Jamar Chase alongside T. Higgins and a solid supporting cast makes this offense as dangerous as any in the league. If the protection continues to hold, there's no reason to think Burrow won't build on his 2024 dominance. For Burrow, 2025 is about more than just numbers. He has already proven he can put up elite production, but now the focus is on translating that into consistent playoff success and ultimately a Super Bowl title. His calm, steady leadership has earned the respect of both teammates and opponents, and he enters the season as the type of quarterback who can elevate everyone around him. The narrative for 2025 is straightforward. Burrow is healthy, his supporting cast is intact, and the Bengals are built to contend. If he plays to his ceiling, there may be no stopping Cincinnati. Joe Burrow has the tools, the mentality, and the supporting cast to not only be the best quarterback this season, but also to cement his status as the face of the NFL for years to come. Will most of these be correct? Honestly, probably not. Odds are at least one of these guys gets a season-ending injury, one is disappointing, and when it comes to the top 5, it can really be anyone's race. However, I do think based on last season, these are just some projections that could come to reality. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate you pressing the like button and commenting down below, and we are coming up quickly on 15K subs and would really love your support getting there. Our last video is about 10 of the worst trades in NFL history, so check that out if you haven't already.